Jeez, man, I hate when this stuff happens. Can you still hear me in chat? I'm pretty sure you can.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, there we go. Sorry, guys. All right. So
it was, he snapped our connection.
I know Thanos.
I was gonna say Disney is like desist 9.5. That's a horseshit score. It's not getting a perfect 10.
Exactly. Done. Oh man. Okay, we're back now. According to Dungeon Bus.
Actually, I didn't give a number.
Yeah, I give it a perfect 10. Disney, don't hurt me. Just rank.
Exactly. I know, just hurt me. All right, we're on to our Stinkles of the Week. Breakman, do you have a Stinkle of the Week?
Wow, we're just now getting the Stinkos.
Yeah.
My Stinko goes to a company that, as a policy, has decided to enact age discrimination.
Ageism.
What?
Ageism. It's the best.
Yes, ageism. Walgreens has decided that since the government's talking about making it legal for 18-year-olds to buy cigarettes, they've decided they're just going to go ahead and they're not going to sell them to 18-year-olds, even though it's completely legal.
Preemptive, huh?
I know, but I call this bullshit. When you tell an 18-year-old they can't drink, which can be fatal, and they can't smoke, which may be fatal in like 30 to 40 years, but yeah, please join the army, and that can kill you any day, at any moment. And oh yeah, you can go buy guns too. Like, you should have those to defend your home.
Yeah.
Even though most guns are used to commit suicide.
Ooh, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Yeah.
So, whatever.
Yeah.
So, Walgreens has decided they're going to discriminate against 18-year-olds. If we've talked about this before, either change the age of adulthood or treat them all like adults. It's not. It shouldn't be like this half horse shit type stuff.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. I mean, we've talked about it ad nauseum on this channel before, on this show before, but I think it's ridiculous, man. Like, you can...
And neither of us gain anything from this. We're being honest. Like, if you want to make, like, 21 adulthood, or we've said, like, what did you say, 25 before?
For what?
Or something like that? The age of adulthood.
Yeah, I think 21 is the right... I mean,
21.
Yeah, 21 is the
like,
right
if
age.
you want to make that the age of adulthood, that doesn't affect us in any way. If you want to make 18 the age of adulthood, like, that doesn't affect us. We're old men now, you know?
Yeah.
This isn't about us. This is about being fair, at least.
Yeah,
you know?
I totally agree with you. I think if the government thinks you're old enough to shoot somebody in a war, you should be able to drink and smoke and do everything else that an adult is.
And not just fair, but more logical, because like you said, like, being able to smoke, like I said, that's going to kill you in 30, 40, 50 years or something like that.
Right.
Whereas, like, you can get a gun and you can be dead tomorrow. You can go to war, you can be dead tomorrow, or killed in a military accident, or hell, we can go. Even one of us can go outside and be killed by a tree falling, or in a car accident, or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
no question, Breakman. I'm with you.
But it's just it doesn't make any sense to tell them, like, you can go kill people and you can go die for your country, but no. You can't have a beer.
I think we think of things backwards here. I think obviously 21 should be the adult age. That's the drinking age. And if you want to change smoking to 21, so be it. I happen to think it's stupid, but whatever. But
there are countries like France, which basically they give their young kids, like, they get wine growing up. Like, they are given alcohol for their adult life, or for their young life and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
To the point where they're one of the countries with the lowest level of alcoholism, because, and apparently, like, they live longer in France too, because the kids, they're exposed to it young.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not the big deal that it is now because we tell them they can't touch this stuff.
They're also very much more cultured. I mean, sex in their society is looked at as a celebration, not a shameful thing. Like, this country always wants us to be ashamed of our bodies and ashamed of sex, and sex is bad, but yet we have the highest rates of teen pregnancy in almost any fucking country in the world. And you look at some.
I shouldn't say, like, that they have the, like, low alcoholism rate. I don't actually know. That was just me kind of.
It's true. They have way lower than United. It's not the lowest in France, but it's way lower than the United States, man. It's just. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I agree with you 100%, Break. There's nothing more that I could add to that would make your points accentuate your points anymore. It's just, it's right.
I guess we should move on.
Do you, real quickly, Break Man, do you think that the age at which you could enter the military should be raised? Because I think so too. I don't think
they don't want that though, because the younger you are, the easier you are to indoctrinate.
Yeah,
the program.
Yep, absolutely. But I really do think that they should raise that age to actually, I think it should be like 23 to 25. And I think you should serve no more than 10 years. You know what I mean? Like if you're...
there are some people that like they get in the military and it's like they like that.
Yeah, but I think
there's some people that should be able to serve their entire lives. If they want that.
I disagree, because I think when you get into career military people, then you always want more, a bigger defense budget. But anyways, that's a discussion for another day.
We're talking about like generals and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, the people that are... But that's not just people in the military. That's conservatives in general.
Yeah,
they want bigger military budget because they're afraid of the boogeyman that's trying to kill us at all times.
Right. And even though we are the boogeyman and we're the biggest boogeyman on all the planet, but that's for a different day. I'm pretty sure. All right, Eric, do you have anything this week?
The Stinkos?
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot to put it in the document, but I'm gonna say the revelation that Epic has been guilty of doing crunch.
What? Oh, god damn them. Fuck them.
70-hour work weeks.
Yeah.
People's mental health deteriorating as a result of this.
Eric,
shit.
Yeah. We need to talk about that next week, Eric. Put that in the free-for-all for next week, and we're definitely going to talk about it, because there is a mental component and a physical component.
Also, Warner Brothers for just being Warner Brothers and ruining Mortal Kombat 11.
Oh yeah, we could talk about that too, man. We'll roll that into the free for all next week, because we're
video game industry, the state of the video game industry.
Yeah. All right.
You shouldn't say it ruins the game, because it doesn't affect the gameplay. It
does, because you have to basically pay to win to get anywhere in the game, unless you really want to grind.
Yeah.
The PC port of it.
No, all of them.
All of them. It's crazy, but we'll get into that next week in our free for all, because that's
bad port job. That's probably it.
We'll do a nuanced conversation about that next week, because there is so much to talk about with that in general, and I think a lot of it has to do with capitalism. But anyways, if you guys want to listen to that discussion, we're going to do that next week, because it's pretty important, and I've been wanting to do kind of a nuanced conversation about work weeks and stuff. That we've talked about it on this show before, but we've never really kind of went in depth, and it ties into video games really nicely. So next week we'll do that in free for all. Anything else on that, Eric?
No, I think Dungeon Buster doesn't understand what we're talking about, but we'll get to that next week. But,
yeah, we'll talk about it, Breakman, or Breakman, Dungeon Buster. Okay, I've got two stinkos this week. One real quick one. To the guy standing in line when I was watching Avengers, it wasn't a spoiler, but it was an irritating kind of mistake that he pointed out that I would have easily picked up on. And I couldn't help but think, what a fucking asshole this guy is for telling me that. Don't say anything about the movie. We were literally 10 minutes, 15 minutes away from seeing this movie, and he's talking about this movie, and I thought he was going to get into spoiler territory, and my blood was kind of boiling. Why can't you just shut the fuck up and just let us watch it, and let us pick up on anything that we had a problem with, or any type of spoilers? I fucking hate people like this, and I've had this happen to me more times than not, where somebody will be in a line that has heard a rumor or heard something about a movie and fucking tries to spoil it for me, and I'm like, are we not going to see this fucking movie in about 10-15 minutes or half an hour or whatever while I'm in line? That's why I don't like to talk to anybody in line. People think I'm the biggest fucking asshole, but I just don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to go into the movie and decide for myself if it was great, if it sucked, if, so-and-so did this or that or the other. Just shut the fuck up before a movie. And that is my TED Talk for today. No, I'm just kidding. My other problem is
wait, before you go to your other one, read what Dungeon Buster said.
Well, let's see. Dungeon Busters, people like that are so much trash. If you heard a rumor and want to talk about it with your friend in public, try and be quiet about it. Just takes a few seconds to be considered. Absolutely.
Or you can always text each other instead.
Dungeon, you couldn't have said it better, dude. Like, honestly, that's. I was so mad. Like, and it was a minor error that Marvel had made with a certain character, and I'm not going to mention any names, but it was just like, dude, can you just let me fucking decide for myself if that was weird or you know what I mean? Like, I said, fuck.
I do want to know how many more cameos of Stan Lee they snuck into the future movies.
I hope
were all those all in advance.
Yeah. Did they spoil the part where the Hulk died? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly. No, that is interesting, and we'll talk more about that next week, Eric, for sure. All right, my second stinko was I got into a Twitter battle, and it was a strange, interesting ride, and Breakman was involved at a certain point, but I want to take you guys through this Twitter battle that I had with somebody. David Hogg sent out a tweet, all right? This is how boring my tweet was, right? David Hogg had sent out a tweet. If people don't know who David Hogg is, he was a Parkland kid survivor. All right, so he survived that horrific Parkland shooting. He's been an activist since, and I love the kid. He's a great guy. And there's another very visible female student that I'm blanking on her name right now. That they're doing good work. Let's just put it that way. He sent out a tweet that said 45% of gun owners don't lock up their guns. It prevents child access, reduces crime, prevents suicide. Lock up your guns, right? Which I thought was a great tweet, but I added my own thing to it. And what I said, and tell me if I'm wrong on this.
Well, let me say big mistake, apparently. Talking to this guy or around this guy, apparently big mistake.
Yeah, for me it was, apparently.
Well, I'm just warning everybody.
Yeah. And so I mentioned, or just don't own a gun, fixed, right? Because if you don't have a gun, none of that shit happens at all. You know, you don't have a chance of your kid getting your gun and shooting him or herself, you know, other than them going away from your presence and getting a gun, which that can happen, but the chances are less likely because it's not available. You know what I'm saying? So it was a very innocuous tweet. It was just, you know, or don't own a gun. I mean, that takes care of like 100% of the problem on your end, right? And that's all I meant to do. I wasn't being sarcastic. I wasn't like trying to have anybody chime in. It was just a thought that I had. Geez, if you don't have a gun, right? So this idiot, which is going to be unnamed, tweeted out to me, you should put a sign out front telling everyone you're disarmed, which I thought was about one of the dumbest things that I could ever hear from somebody. But oh well, you know, maybe this guy just has problems and whatever. So I felt like I had to respond to that. Maybe I shouldn't have, but it says I got no problem with that. I'm proud to not own a gun. I'm not into shooting people because I'm not, because that's ultimately what could happen, right? I don't know what the chances are if you have a gun, your chances of shooting somebody are. But I know if you don't have a gun in your presence, you are 100% not going to shoot somebody, right? So that's what my point was. I'm not into shooting people. You know how this dickhead responded? He goes, you must live in a gated community. I was like, nope, wide open community, right in the middle of the hood, too. Imagine that. Not remotely as afraid of people as you apparently are. Because I already know where this guy is going with things, right? You can kind of sense the mentality right there. So he's like, put that sign up and then leave your door like you want the border wide open. So already we're getting into racist territory, right? You want an open border. When did I ever say in any of my previous tweets that I wanted an open border, which I happen to think that that's probably the right answer, open borders, but I'm not, you know, that had nothing to do with what I was saying here. So I'm like, I'm still afraid of others I see. I know we're scary, but I promise we won't bite much, right? So I'm trying to lighten the mood just a tad, you know? And it ends up devolving into, how did it get this far, Breakman? Because I'm still kind of like what?
He was a crazy person.
He's a crazy person, no question. But he says, if you have no fear, you're sheltered or stupid. And I can honestly tell you, and I know you guys know this, I am definitely, if anybody can accuse me of anything, it's not being sheltered or stupid. But it goes on from there to eventually the point in the entire history of me being on Twitter or me interacting with people in my entire life, which you guys know spans the dawn of man. I have never once been accused of being a racist or a white nationalist. But guess what? Now I have officially been called a white nationalist.
Even though you're Mexican.
Even though I'm a Mexican.
And you pointed that stuff out to him, too. And
Frank's the Uncle Tom of Mexicans, apparently.
So then, I mean, I'm trying to say, he goes, okay, and he says, this is where he starts in. He says, that's your white privilege. Black people face a murder rate 5 times that of white people. So now he's trying to turn the tide to make it seem like he's Mr. Hero, right? Have overstretched police departments with slow response. I know you want new laws to oppress them, but as usual, we defend vulnerable communities from people like you. And I'm like, this is probably one of the dumbest things that you could have ever said to me. And you guys know me better than anybody. You guys have known me for fucking years. If there's one person that's on their bandwagon for, saying how much pieces of shit cops are and how much, minorities in this country are how bad they're treated, it's been me. I have a fucking, I'm like the Bernie Sanders of fucking podcasting, all right? I've been doing this shit for 11 fucking years, and I've got a very strong record, a very consistent record of telling you the truth. Right? When it comes to my personal experiences of what I've dealt with and all the people that I've seen have injustices done to them, which mostly have been minorities, mind you, and I include white people when it's warranted too, because I've seen plenty of white people slighted too. But proportionately, people of color have been treated like shit in this country going all the way back, even before slavery. So when I thought about this, I'm like, what is this guy trying to say? Is he trying to say that he would have, in the case of a police officer beating the shit out of a black guy or a Mexican or a minority, that he would have pulled out his fucking gun and defended that person? No fucking way. I wasn't going to let that guy get away with that bullshit. So I was like, I'm a person of color, basically, which I am. And, he's like, you're not black. He got all on his high horse. I was like, maybe I am. Maybe I'm Mexican. Maybe I'm Irish. Maybe I'm Italian.
I think that's about where I saw what was going on.
Yeah.
I think that was around that point.
Yeah. So then he's comparing me to the KKK because he goes, cops kill black people. Let's take black people's guns and have them call the cops. KKK logic. I'm like, this is so stupid. How do I even combat this level of stupidity without stooping to a level of that stupidity? And he says, you're not black, and I think you're one of those non-white Nazis, which what in anything that I said would give anybody the impression that I was a Nazi. That it's still to this day.
Well, sorry.
Go ahead. No, jump in, Breakman. Because this is the.
You want to know how you're a Nazi?
Yeah, exactly. Go right ahead, Breakman. Let's chime in here.
Well, obviously. Wait, I gotta go. Sorry.
I think I saw a little bit of this conversation that you're talking more.
Yeah,
about.
And then
I jumped in defending Frank because I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on here? Leave Frank alone. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I was making reasonable points and stuff like that. But go on, because you were not done. Because
no, it continues on, and he sends me this picture of this chick that I've never seen. I mean, she's kind of hot, but you can tell she's in the Nazi movement, and stuff like that, which makes her completely disgusting. And he's like, "Do you know this woman?" I'm like, "What? Do I know this fucking Nazi woman? Are you fucking insane?" I felt like saying, "You're talking to a Mexican, the kind of person that you hate right now. Why would I know this motherfucker?" But I kept my cool. And then then he starts in, I knew it was going to happen. He starts in with the N-word and coon and all this racist nonsense.
Boy.
And he tries to pull
The South come out.
Yeah, he tries to pull in Candace Owens for some reason, which I guess that's his definition of a perfect minority. Piece of shit Candace Owens, which I could do a whole fucking show. No, I don't. Yeah, I'm inevitable. Dungeon Buster says for the ignore button. I don't even like to ignore these type of people. I very rarely block anybody. I will mute somebody at certain points. This guy.
You should watch. The Innuendo Studios the alt-right playbook.
Yeah, and then all goes.
Most of it comes down to just not giving these people debate.
Right, and that's why I was having such a hard time, Eric, because I couldn't stoop to this level. I mean, I could, but why would I do that? So I'm just kind of playing along a little bit because you can learn a lot by interacting with these idiots sometimes, and I thought I could do that in this instance, but.
No, see, the problem with this person is they're a crazy person.
Yeah, it got to the point.
There's something mentally wrong with them, and nothing that you said,
right,
and nothing that anybody's going to say to them is going to get through to them because they live in their own reality.
So it got to the point, Breakman, where you got involved, but basically when I had enough is when I just started saying troll and arrows pointing to this idiot because he just came up with dumb point after dumb point after dumb point, and at some point. I don't like to block or mute anybody, but at some point I just get pissed off and I just call people trolls, what they are. And this guy was definitely a fucking troll. And he started to try to turn things back on me by saying I was the racist and, blah, blah, blah. And you have black friends, which I'd never said. I never said any of the stuff that this fucking ass did. But if you were to look at this conversation, you might think, wow, what did Frank Branches say? You know what I'm saying? So I just started pointing out like just stupid shit, like the dumb hypocrisy of this idiot. And I called him out on every single thing. And then Breakman got involved. And what was funny is Breakman.
I guess it was about that point, yeah.
Yeah, Breakman got involved, and I thought brilliantly started like kind of trolling this idiot. And I was like, this guy, and it was to the point where
me troll somebody.
Yeah.
What is this accusation?
What was funny is
you finished by teabagging him.
Well, we basically did. Breakman and I just ran circles around this idiot. But what the funny thing was is when Breakman got involved, this guy thought that Breakman was talking about me.
Yeah, somehow he turned it around in his head, even though it was obviously talking about him.
Yeah, and I'm like. I was just standing back looking for a second, and I was laughing because all this time, like 3-4 tweets, Breakman was like, what a fucking moron, basically. I can't remember what you said. I can't see the tweet right here, but maybe you can fill me in.
I just, at that point, like, after he, like, he was like, right, or I'm like, let me
yeah, you called him a goddamn...
Is the stream running right now? Mine seems to be weird.
Seems okay.
Okay. I guess I just need to refresh.
Yeah, try to refresh. So this is what Breakman says. God damn, what a racist piece of shit, right? And then he said, you can't have a logical debate with someone that isn't logical. Assholes like this make me want to drink. Seriously, I don't know.
No, you need more than logic. You need rationality.
Well, yeah, which it goes hand in hand. How many people that speak for minority...
Because there are plenty of things that make a logical sense. They just don't make any rational sense.
Yeah. Dungeon says, run away from that thread. It's a toxic barrel. Yeah.
And then I said, this. Also, I like how this racist piece of shit, trying to be more direct, a racist piece of shit seems to think that you are a white nationalist, which he responded to with, I know, right? It's awful. How the fuck did he turn that around in his head?
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, and the funny thing about what it is I tweeted right before that. Like, I just stopped. I just quoted his tweet and I said, Jesse Lee Peterson, everybody. And if anybody doesn't know who Jesse Lee Peterson, he's a black guy that basically thinks he's white and he hates black people. And he makes it when he does interview questions. He does this. He projects what he feels and then he turns it to make people think you said it. And it wasn't working with me, so I just kept pointing out the hypocrisy. And Breakman brilliantly was like, what a racist piece of shit, blah blah blah. And then this is the one tweet that he tweeted me, Break, that I had to laugh at really hard. He goes, disarming minorities, which I never said. I just said don't own a gun. I mean, shit. I mean, I didn't say.
You should have saved that picture, printed it in, framed it on a wall.
Yeah,
you have to hear this, Eric.
And then he goes disarming minorities, and I bet he drinks water. You know who else did both of those things? Hitler. And I'm like, wow, drinking water is
because water is the thing that people need.
Well, I said apparently, and I quoted his tweet again. Apparently, drinking water is a crime now. I should have put maybe if you're in Flint, Michigan, that might work. But
I stopped saying anything when I read that. Like
that.
Wow,
how do you
drinking? Wait, Hitler and drinking water? What the? Okay, this guy's completely insane.
That's basically a variation on the Hitler ate vegetables.
Yeah. So
and was a vegetarian,
right? So it's so funny because it didn't just evolve from there that I was a Hitler youth propagandist and what else? And then Breakman was a piece of shit too, and because he finally realized how stupid he or she was or it, and realized how dumb and started attacking Breakman. I'm like, this guy is just fucking done, man. I just how dumb. He said that account was clearly trying to get a rise out of you and waiting for the reply. That's why it kept...
Have you seen if he was suspended yet?
No, I didn't report him, her, it, whatever, because it wasn't...
It's not like Twitter would anyway. Twitter seems to support Nazis.
Yeah, they do.
The only time I ever report anybody is when they show support for Trump.
I don't do that because I got suspended for... One time I said... It was so fucking tongue-in-cheek. I said, because the piece of shit in office was saying, something about one of the Republican senators that had pancreatic cancer. And I took exception to it because I'm like, there's a point where you just have to have a little bit of tact, And I said, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna turn this around on that motherfucker. And and it must have been real popular because man, no sooner than I tweeted out I got suspended for 12 hours. I was like, but whatever. Let's move on. Sweeto's got to be Avengers for all of us, right? I mean, I don't think there's any question about it. Real quickly for our free for all, I know we don't have much time, but now that Endgame is here and it's the culmination of 10 years worth of movies. What are your top 3 favorite Marvel movies from the past 10 years? I'll start with you, Eric.
Top 3 Marvel.
Yeah.
Does it matter if it's part of the MCU or not?
No, not necessarily. Well, for this purposes, since it's Endgame Day, let's do just the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Just the past 10 years.
As much as I hated the villain in Iron Man, I'd have to go with Iron Man for one of them.
The original? The original?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Spider-Man Homecoming. And, let's see. Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, good choice, man. So you picked Iron Man, Ragnarok, and what else? What was the other one? I think I missed one.
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh, Spider-Man Home. Oh, good choice, man. Good choices. Or what about you, Breakman?
I need to think a little bit about this one. The original Avengers, definitely. I need to think.
Okay. For me, I would say... Oh, boy. Man, this is really tough. Thor Dark World. No, I'm just kidding. You
mean Loki?
Yeah, Loki. I'm going to say... Original Avengers for sure. Actually, I'm not going to put the original Avengers in there. I'm going to put... This might be a little controversial to you guys. I'm going to put Infinity War in there. Because I really liked Infinity War. I really liked it.
Infinity War was good. It was
I actually didn't care for the first 2 Avenger movies all that much.
Oh, I did. I liked them. I thought they were great. Even Ultron, which people bag on all the time, I thought was pretty good. So I'm going to go with Infinity War. And then for my second one, I'm going to go... Man, Homecoming was really good.
I just find the whole Black Widow shit insufferable in the second movie.
Oh, I liked it. I thought it was okay.
It was definitely a surprise, but we shouldn't...
The problem was that it was...
Oh, I'm sorry. We're talking about something else.
The whole character art was fucked up.
It is hard to... That's why I did it.
Because Joss Whedon had to be misogynist butthole.
No, I don't. He wasn't trying to be like he. He was trying to like make her more human, and it backfired.
Because Joss Whedon is a fucking stupid teenager. That's why.
Yeah.
He had to do
maybe so, but I don't think his intents were bad.
Okay, here's my other two favorites.
The things I've heard about him, maybe it was.
I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm gonna say Winter Soldier and Civil War because they're so closely linked. So that's I know I'm a dick.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm cheating, but yeah. And then for my last one, I'm gonna say, God, it's so close. You know what? For just pure fun of it all, I'm gonna say Ant-Man. I really liked Ant-Man. I thought it was different from all the. Oh no, you know what? I take that back. Black Panther, all the way. Fucking Black Panther was fantastic. What about you, Eric? Or did you? You already did it. Breakman.
Yeah.
You're up.
Avengers and Civil War. Let me see. I really liked Homecoming, but I want to give it to one of the older movies. Like I like the original Thor, because that was one where we really saw character development. You know, he went from the truly selfish prick to somebody who really learned.
Yeah, I like the original.
Which makes me wonder why. Which makes me wonder why Mjolnir actually considered him worthy, like because he was using it like through the movie.
Well, because he was
at the beginning
worthy.
of the movie. It didn't have Odin before Odin cast him out. He said that, like, he put that like specific mark on the hammer.
Yeah,
like he wasn't like that mark wasn't on it until he pissed Odin off.
Yep. All right, so those are great choices, Break. I probably would take Ragnarok just slightly over Thor, the original, just ever so slightly.
I know the Ragnarok's hilarious. It is a lot of fun, but it's just like there was something we don't really get to see, like it's so really like thorough, like a real character development. Like they really skipped that with the original Iron Man. Like there are points in Iron Man and Iron Man 2 where you get to see where Tony's just kind of partying a little and stuff like that, but that doesn't really represent his character in the comics, where he's a misogynistic pig alcoholic.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Well,
I liked how it like creative he was under like very strict conditions.
Yeah,
that's what I like seeing. The first movie.
Dungeon says Ant-Man and the Wasp. That was a really fun movie, man. Civil War and Winter Soldier, also two of his faves. Yeah, I agree, man. I don't think it gets much better than Civil War, man, to be honest. Winter Soldier had a great fucking story, man. I think they really did that, man. The casting was great in almost all of them, man. They missed an opportunity with Edward Norton as Hulk, because I thought Edward Norton kind of embodied that character more than even Ruffalo, but Ruffalo has done a fine job. I think they've done a wonderful job with casting and stuff like that. It makes me interested in what's going to happen next based on the events. But all right, any final thoughts, guys, on fucking 10 years of great Marvel movies and
I guess I'd say the other one also, like this one obviously we've kept out of it, so this one's fantastic.
Maybe if they make a new Hulk movie, they can have a fight Red Hulk and it'll be Ed Norton or Eric Bana.
That would be pretty cool.
Oh, please, not Eric Bana. No, not him, please.
Yeah, no, that was a terrible choice for Hulk. Although I did like that movie.
But if Hulk kills him, it'll be like justice.
I mean, I'd like him getting killed and all, but he's such a terrible actor. Like, he ruins everything he touches. Like, just no Eric Bana.
Yeah, no
please.
Bana. Okay, so my final thought, what a great 10 years, and my phone's ringing, which is even greater.
Has it been longer than 10 years? Because doesn't it start really with the first Hulk movie?
No, the canon is Iron Man. That's where.
Well, no, the Ed Norton. Well, is that the first year?
Yeah, that's the first. As far as the MCU as we're concerned today, it's Iron Man. Iron Man's the first one.
Eric Bana Godzilla.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think it's been a fun ride, and I can't wait for hopefully another 10 years with an event culminating like Avengers Endgame. I think what they're going to.
Do you expect a new Hulk movie? Is the question though.
No, not a single one because they can't because Universal still owns the rights, which I don't understand. I hope Universal will work with Marvel to just give them the property and let them much like Sony does with Spider-Man. If you want to make your own movies, fine, Venom and whatever else, but leave the main Hulk is a fucking Marvel property, you know what I mean? And I don't know. I'm excited because of two things for the future of the Marvel Universe. X-Men, Fantastic Four, more fucking villains. I want to see a Magneto event. I want to see it fucking all, man. And one more time with Hugh Jackman, please. One more fucking time. Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool. Do it. We need it. We need a buddy cop film with those two in it. And we can do a huge story with the Skrulls, which I think is where they're going to go next, and hopefully, we get what we got.
That's the Brood War.
Yeah.
I just looked up. Iron Man and Hulk came out in the same year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but Iron Man is considered.
Iron Man probably came out first, but they came out the same year.
Yeah, but
I didn't see which came out first.
I don't even really consider that Hulk movie part of the MCU. Do you?
They do.
Oh, okay.
They made it for instance, if you think
they
about.
They have a stinger at the end that basically connects them.
Oh, okay.
Which was it? Infinity War, where General Thunderhawk shows up.
Thunder Ross. Yeah, Thunderbolt Ross. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. All right. Okay. All right, guys. I think that's all we got time for. No Grinder dance party tonight. Nobody's gonna be there. Not even my woman's gonna be there. So no GDP tonight. So we'll do it next week. We'll keep the theme paranormal. So think of your, paranormal songs for next week. All right. Let's do our plugs. Let's start with you.
Nobody talk about the spoilers where Thor gets shaved, he loses his beard.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't talk about that.
How dare you, Breakman? I thought this was supposed to be spoiler.
No shit. Fuck. I mean,
spoiler: Thor gets stripped.
Would you? Next thing you know, Breakman, you're gonna spoil the part where Rocket Raccoon transforms into Squirrel Girl. I mean, you're just gonna fucking do it. I don't know why.
No, that was one of the parts where I almost cried.
I know.
And not tears of joy.
Right.
No.
Right.
Shit, Frank, shut up.
Ah, god damn it. And then Eric is probably gonna spoil the part where Thor calls on Wolverine and stuff. But fuck, man. How dare you?
Or that part where they have sex with a hooker.
Oh, Jesus. No context spoiler. Stay Puft Marshmallow. Exactly. I'm not going to say what that refers to. All right. Eric, plugs quickly because I got to, much like Avengers, I got to use the restroom, man. This show's gone on too long.
If you're not the person that can sit in the theater that long, you might want to just consider getting a big TV and waiting for the disc release or whatever.
It's a long movie, for sure.
Otherwise, you could see... I don't know, maybe you could convince G-Kids to do another, private screenings at your local theater. If you just work with the theater manager and, try to work something out. If you really want to see Yakuza, so it's a good movie. So.
Okay.
Or you could just wait till disc release. I don't, you'd have to call G-Kids about that, but... Yeah. Because they did not put anything out, but I imagine it's going to be in the next couple months. And I think Dragon Ball Super Broly is out now. I'm not sure. Oh
yeah, it is. I saw that at Walmart.
I might
actually
pick that up.
Yeah, I saw.
But buyer beware because Funimation. That's something I should have included in my Stinko. But Funimation basically fucked up the release because there's apparently some green tint. And if you're really anal about, dubisms from the old broadcast era of Dragon Ball Z, they've been carried over here for some weird reason, which was apparently mandated by Toei. And Funimation absolutely has no problem just saying yes. They didn't try to debate them.
Yeah.
Because Steve Simmons used to do the subtitles for a long time, but they didn't use them for this.
Yes, sir.
So now you've got the Frieza spelled wrong, and you've got like Beerus, whatever, and Bra's been renamed to Bulla, but that's also in the broadcast dub, so
Eric,
not surprising.
Eric, sorry to interrupt, dude, but I'm like sweating here, dude. Like,
sorry.
let's get through your plugs,
basically, the green tint is the biggest problem. So like, you might want to buy them to support the movie sales, but you might want to find a rip of the Japanese or a UK version somewhere else to watch it. Because green tint, why Funimation? Why?
Yeah.
But that's just one of the issues I have with Funimation. I'll talk about that next week. But otherwise, you could just check out reviews I've written on sites like BostonBashFrigade.com, TotallyGN.com, VogNetwork.com, and HonestGamers.com. In fact, I got 2 reviews of Piku Niku and Galgun 2 up on Boston Bash Brigade. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter at EricRPG, and I've got a link to my Patreon so you can support me financially, even with as much as $1. If you like my reviews and you want to continue to support me. But other than that, have a good weekend.
All right. I am going to plug Avengers Endgame. Go see it. I know everybody's going to go see it, but go see it because next week we're going to do a spoilerific review of Avengers Endgame, and we've got lots to talk about. We didn't even scratch the surface today, to be honest with you, on our non-spoilery one. Don't feed the trolls on Twitter, I guess, is the moral of today's story. What else?
And trash gamer kids on like games online are the worst. Yeah. there's another out of context reference for you.
Yeah. Let's see. You can get a hold of me on any game system. It's RPGrinders on any game system. The ones that I don't know which ones use capitalization, but capitalize RPG and the rest lowercase. But Dungeon Buster, I'm close to failing my Constitution roll here, man, for sure. All right. Thanks everybody for listening. You can follow me on Twitter at Frank Branches, and then RPGrinders on any of the game systems if you want to add me there. Tell your friends about the show. That's the only way that we're going to grow. I mean, I've tried everything else without spending a shit ton of money. So, there you go. All right, thanks everybody. We'll see you next week.
I guess I could try and write a Sharpie on my body and run naked through the streets.
Yeah, I guess you could do that, man.
As long as I write the Sharpies on spots where they're not going to edit out and stuff like that. Yeah, because obviously when they were showing me on the news, they're going to be editing spots out.
Yeah, I think what Breakman is really trying to say is I really want Frank Branches to shit his pants on the live on the show today, so there, I'm just gonna drag it out. Okay.
All right. You can follow me at break_man and at RPGrinders on Twitter.
Fucking asshole, man. All right. Thanks everybody for listening. See you next week. Stay safe this weekend. We want to see you back here next week. Till then, we are out. Later, everybody. Gonna shit my pants if I don't hurry the shit up.
Yeah, can you hit fast forward on the theme?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm really gonna shit my pants, guys. Alright, everybody, thanks so much. And Chad, Dungeon, I know you're probably one of the last few in there, and everybody else that was in there, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Later, everybody. Bye.
Later.
Fuckers. Alright.